Good night, this is Fumi Sleepy Time Stories. Tonight's bedtime story is about to begin.
Once upon a time, there was a father who had 2 sons. The elder was clever and capable, able to handle anything that came his way. But the younger was dull and slow. He could do nothing and refused to learn anything. Whenever people saw him, they would shake their heads and say, "What a burden this boy must be to his old father." Whenever there was work to do, the elder son was always the one sent out. But when it was late at night or the task involved passing through graveyards or eerie places, he would cry, "Oh no, father, I can't go there. I'm too scared." He truly was afraid. The younger, however, was never frightened. When the family sat around the fire at night telling frightening tales, the listeners would exclaim, "Oh, how terrifying!" But the younger son sat in the corner, puzzled. "They keep saying I'm afraid, but I don't understand what it means." He thought, "It must be some kind of skill, one I've never learned." One day, the father said to the younger son, "Stay in the corner and listen to me. You've grown tall and strong. It's time you learned a trade to earn your keep. Look at your brother. He's so capable, but you're good for nothing." "You're right, father," the boy replied. "I'd really like to learn something. In fact, if I may, I want to learn what it means to be afraid. I just don't get it." His brother laughed aloud, thinking, "He's such a fool. He'll never amount to anything." The father sighed. "You'll learn what fear is soon enough," he said. "But fear doesn't put bread on the table." Soon after, the church sexton paid them a visit. The father complained bitterly, saying, "My youngest son is hopeless. He knows nothing and he learns nothing. Would you believe it, when I asked him how he'd earn a living, he said he wanted to learn how to be afraid." "If that's what he wants," the sexton replied, "let him come with me. I'll put him to the test." The father agreed, thinking, "Finally, maybe this boy can be taught something useful." So the sexton took the boy to the church and had him ring the bell. A few days later, the sexton woke him at midnight and said, "Go to the bell tower and ring the bell now. Tonight, you'll learn what fear really means." He himself crept ahead up the stairs. When the boy reached for the bell rope, he noticed a white figure standing silently on the steps. "Who's there?" he called. The figure didn't move. "Speak up or get out. What are you doing here at this hour?" Still no response. The boy warned him 3 times, and when the figure stood like stone, he shoved it down the stairs. It fell, limp and groaning. He rang the bell and went back to sleep. The sexton's wife waited and waited, but her husband never returned. Worried, she woke the boy and asked, "Do you know where my husband is?" "No idea," he said, "but someone strange was standing on the stairs. I asked them to speak or move. When they wouldn't, I thought they must be up to no good and pushed them down. Maybe it was him?" She rushed out and found her husband lying groaning in the corner with a broken leg. She carried him home and went straight to the boy's father. "Your son has done something terrible," she cried. "He pushed my husband down the stairs. His leg is broken. Take that fool out of my house." The father rushed over and scolded the boy. "What's wrong with you? You must be possessed." "But father," the boy said, "I warned him 3 times. He was just standing there like a villain." "Oh, you'll be the death of me," the father groaned. "Get out. I don't want to see you again." "Fine," the boy replied. "At dawn, I'll leave. I'm going to go learn what it means to be afraid, and maybe even find a trade to support myself." "Do what you like," the father said, throwing him a pouch. "Here's 50 silver coins. Just don't tell anyone you're my son." "I'm ashamed of you." "As you wish, father," said the boy. "That will be easy." At the break of dawn, the boy tucked the 50 silver coins into his pocket and set off. As he walked, he muttered to himself, "If only I could learn what fear is. If only I knew how to shiver." Before long, a man caught up with him and overheard his strange muttering. They walked together until they came to a gallows where 7 men hung swaying in the breeze. The stranger pointed and said, "See that tree? Those fellows tried to win the rope maker's daughter. Now they're learning to swing. If you sit beneath them all night, you'll surely learn fear." "If that's all it takes, it'll be easy," said the boy. "If I learn to shiver, you can have my 50 silver coins. Come back in the morning and see." With that, he walked to the gallows and made himself a fire to keep warm. But as night deepened, a cold wind blew, and even the fire couldn't warm him. Looking up, he saw the hanged men swaying and bumping into each other. "If I'm cold by the fire, they must be freezing," he thought kindly. He fetched a ladder, climbed up, and cut them down one by one. He laid their stiff bodies around the fire to warm them up. But they didn't move. Soon their tattered clothes caught fire. "Be careful," he warned. "If you don't behave, I'll hang you back up." But the corpses made no sound. In anger, he dragged them one by one and rehung them on the gallows. Then he sat by the fire and fell asleep. The next morning, the stranger returned, hoping to claim the silver coins. "Well, did you learn what fear is?" he asked. "Not at all," the boy replied. "Those fellows up there said nothing. Their clothes caught fire, but they didn't seem to care. They're too stupid to talk." Realizing he wouldn't be getting the money, the stranger walked away, muttering, "I've never met such a foolhardy boy in all my life." The boy continued on his journey, still sighing. "Oh, if only I could learn what it means to be afraid." Soon, a cart driver came by and overheard him. "Who are you?" asked the driver. "I don't know," the boy replied. "Where are you from?" "I don't know." "Who's your father?" "Can't say." "Then why do you keep muttering like that?" "I just want to learn how to shiver," said the boy. "Who can teach me?" "Forget such nonsense," the driver said. "Come with me. I'll find you a place to stay." So the boy followed the driver, and by dusk they reached a small inn. Still muttering, "If only I could learn to be afraid," he entered the house. The innkeeper overheard and laughed. "If that's what you want, there may be a way." "Don't
say such things," his wife interrupted.
"Many a fool has lost his life there. And this handsome boy, it'd be such a pity." But the boy insisted, "No matter how hard it is, I want to learn. That's the reason I left home." Finally, the innkeeper gave in and told him of a haunted castle nearby, cursed by devils. "If you spend 3 nights there, you'll learn what fear is for sure. The king has promised that whoever breaks the curse shall marry his daughter, the fairest maiden in the land, and claim all the treasure hidden in the castle. but many have tried and none have returned. The boy's eyes lit up. Asterisk. The next day, the boy went straight to the king. "If your majesty permits," he said, "I'd like to stay 3 nights in the haunted castle." The king looked him over and said, "You may bring 3 lifeless things with you." "Then I'll take a fire, a lathe, and a carving bench with a knife," the boy replied. These were delivered to the castle, and at nightfall the boy entered. He lit a fire in one of the rooms, placed the lathe and the bench beside it, and sat down. "If only I could learn to shiver," he sighed. "Maybe even here I won't learn." At midnight, from a corner of the room came a screeching voice. "Meow! Meow! We're cold!" "You fools!" the boy shouted. "Why cry out? Come sit by the fire." At once, 2 large black cats leapt out and sat beside him, glaring with wicked eyes. After warming themselves, they said, "Fellow, shall we play?" "Cards? Why not?" said the boy, "but first let me see your paws." When they stretched them out, he exclaimed, "What long claws! Let me trim them for you." He grabbed them, laid them on the bench, clamped down their paws, and killed them. "I've no interest in playing now," he muttered, and threw their bodies into the pond outside. But the night was far from over. No sooner had he dealt with the cats than black dogs and cats poured in from every corner and crevice, dragging fiery chains behind them. Their number grew so large that the boy had no place to stand. They shrieked and howled horribly, stomping over the fire and scattering the burning logs. Still, the boy sat quietly. But when they started getting too wild, he grabbed the carving knife and cried, "Away with you, you wicked beasts!" With sweeping blows, he slashed left and right. Some creatures fled, others were struck down and tossed into the pond outside. When they were all gone, he rebuilt the fire and warmed himself. Feeling drowsy, he noticed a bed in the corner. "Just what I need," he said, and lay down. But as soon as he closed his eyes, the bed began to move. It spun around the castle like 6 horses were pulling it upstairs, over thresholds, crashing through doors. "Faster, faster!" the boy shouted, and the bed did just that, until suddenly it flipped over and came crashing down on top of him like a mountain. Undeterred, he threw off the mattress and blankets, crawled out, and grumbled, "If anyone likes that ride, they can have it." Then he laid back by the fire and slept until morning. At dawn, the king arrived, thinking surely the boy had perished. "What a shame," he sighed. "Such a fine young man." But the boy stirred and sat up, saying, "Not quite yet." The king was amazed and asked how he had fared. "It went well," said the boy. "1 night down, 2 to go." Back at the inn, the landlord was astonished. "I never imagined you'd survive, so did you learn what fear is?" "Not yet," the boy replied. "Everything I did was in vain." "Oh, if only someone could teach me to shiver." That night, he returned to the castle and once more sat by the fire, muttering, "If only I could learn what fear is." Around midnight, a low rumble echoed through the halls, growing louder until, with a shriek, half a man tumbled down the chimney and landed in front of him. "Hey," the boy called, "you're missing your other half. That won't do at all." Just then, another roar came, and the other half fell down to join the first. "Hold on," said the boy. Let me stir the fire." When he turned around, again, the two halves had joined into a monstrous man with a hideous face sitting right in his chair. "I don't think so," said the boy. "That seat's mine." When the monster tried to push him aside, the boy pushed back even harder and won the seat. Soon more strange figures dropped down the chimney, ghostly shapes carrying 9 huge bones and 2 skulls. They set up the bones like pins and began playing a ghostly game of 9 pins. "Mind if I join?" asked the boy. "Only if you've got some money," one replied. "Oh, I've plenty," said the boy. "But your balls aren't round enough." He picked up a skull, set it on the lathe, and shaved it smooth. There, a proper ball should roll. He joined their game and even lost some money. But as the clock struck midnight, all the specters vanished, and he lay down and went to sleep. Asterisk. The next morning, the king arrived once more and asked, "Well, did you learn what fear is this time?" "No," the boy replied, yawning. "I played 9 pins and lost a bit of money, but I still don't know what fear is." On the 3rd night, he sat again in his place and grumbled, "If only I could learn to be afraid." Just then, 6 tall men entered, carrying a coffin. "Aha," said the boy. "Must be my cousin who died a few days ago." He motioned with his hand. "Come closer, cousin, come on." The men set the coffin down, and the boy lifted the lid. A dead man lay inside, pale and cold. The boy touched his face. It was like ice. "Wait, I'll warm you up." He kindled the fire higher, warmed his hands, and rubbed the corpse's face and arms, trying to bring life back into it. Still cold. "Maybe if we sleep together, it'll help," he thought. So he carried the corpse to the bed, laid him beside him, and covered them with blankets. Sure enough, after a while, the dead man grew warm and began to move. "See, cousin, I warmed you up." But suddenly, the corpse sprang up and shouted, "Now I will strangle you." "What?" cried the boy. "Is that how you thank me?" Without hesitation, he flung the man back into the coffin and slammed the lid shut. The 6 men returned and carried the coffin away. "I'll never learn fear in this place," the boy sighed. "Even if I stayed here forever." Suddenly, a tall old man entered, taller than anyone the boy had ever seen. His long white beard hung down to his chest, and his eyes burned like embers. "You poor wretch," he thundered. "Now you'll finally learn what fear is. You're about to die." "Not so fast," the boy replied. "I'll decide when I die. Then I'll seize you." The old man roared. "Wait, don't boast. I'm as strong as you, maybe even stronger." "Let's see about that," said the old man. "If you defeat me, I'll let you go. Come, we'll test our strength." He led the boy through a dark tunnel into a blacksmith's forge, picked up an axe, and slammed an anvil deep into the ground. "I can do better than that," said the boy, grabbed another axe, and with one powerful blow split a second anvil clean in half, so cleanly that the old man's beard got caught in the crack. "Got you now," the boy said. "Looks like it's you, not me, who's about to die." Then he grabbed an iron bar and beat the old man until he begged for mercy. "Stop, stop," cried the old man. "If you spare me, I'll give you riches beyond imagination." So the boy let him go. The old man led him back to the castle and down to a hidden cellar. There he revealed 3 chests brimming with gold. "One for the poor," he said, "one for the king, and one for you." As the clock struck 12, the old man vanished into thin air. The boy, now alone in the dark, groped his way back to the fire, lay down, and slept soundly until morning. The next day, the king came and asked, "Surely, now you've learned what fear is?" "No," said the boy. "What even is fear?" "My dead cousin came by, and a white-bearded man gave me gold. But no one has shown me what it means to be afraid." The king laughed and said, "Well, you've broken the castle's curse, and for that you shall marry my daughter." "That's wonderful," said the boy, "but I still wish I knew what it meant to shiver." The treasure was brought out, the wedding was celebrated, and the boy loved his wife dearly. He was happy, but still kept saying, "If only I could learn what fear is. If only I could learn to shiver." At last, the princess had enough. One of her maids whispered, "I know how to fix that." She went down to the garden stream and returned with a bucket full of cold water and wriggling fish. That night, while the boy was fast asleep, the princess quietly pulled back his covers and poured the whole icy, fishy mess into his bed. The tiny fish flopped and tickled and leapt across his skin. He bolted upright with a scream. "Oh, I'm frightened." "I'm frightened at last." He gasped and clutched his wife. "Darling, now I know what it means to shiver."
The end.